excuse. But it was a good excuse that people accepted it, and she said, and she made a good story out of it. I lip sync because I just care. Hi, everyone. Yeah, welcome back for another stream. I'm sorry I haven't been back here for a while. I decided to do the stream today, decided to do it on a different time pit. So let's go and get started, shall we? So right now, what I'm doing, what you're seeing right now, this is actually kind of a portrait practice I started on earlier this weekend. And so I figured I'd start on it, midstream. So you guys get a chance to watch it for the next couple of minutes. All right. And so what I'm doing right now is actually going through shading process. It's kind of darkening this eye socket here.
Due to the weather, due to the delay to no proper sound check, I did not feel comfortable taking a risk.
I want to make my country proud. That's why I lip sync. Yeah, I did it for the troops. I did it for the troops. I did it for our commander in chief. Yeah. Obama, be funny if that speech was lip sync. She's coughing, that shit just goes off.
So what I'm doing right now, I'm basically kind of lightly building up all my shadows here.
Shockingly, it appears Simpson had been lip syncing to pieces of me, or at least along with the track. The band gamely plays on, as you can see, while Simpson fumbles her way through a bizarre jig before wandering off stage.
Her career burst into flames. It was so great. At the very end, he was about to do the screen.
And basically what I'm doing right now, I'm just building up the shadows in the darkest parts. And I'm just slowly building them up from there. And for this picture, you probably can't see it right now, but I am using a photo reference of a jazz musician, Pharaoh Sanders. I'm basically using an old picture of him, as a reference, for this, like portrait study.
People are just coming out and personally attacking her right now. Everybody's doing it for a good laugh. And the real look, I laugh too. If you mess up and don't make excuses, because another thing people are attacking on is that she's come out and now she's talking about how it was Dick Clark production. They want to see a viral video. They want a viral moment. Oh, right. And people at Dick Clark production is saying, oh, fuck that, she messed up. Somebody even said, yeah, she didn't show up at rehearsals or she had a stand-in. Oh, but then her publicist saying she was at rehearsal. We would never know.
You were so hold it up high. It fell to the ground.
It's got color in her little iris here. Yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been back here in a while. It's been a combination of different things. Part of it's just my changing schedule with work. The other half is that had some audio issues with my microphone. I had my camera setup changed as well. So I had to kind of take a brief hiatus before I could start doing this again. And in fact, I'm not really too sure what my next date's going to be. It's probably not going to be Thursdays and Fridays more like it used to be, since though that's actually turned out being one of my busier days because I have 2 jobs at work on those 2 days. So I may end up doing it probably either evenings on Mondays, or I'll just probably do more more drawing shoots like today on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning.
She looked like she aged every punch. She's done it to dust herself. Oh, I know. And the thing with her is that You know, when you see this shit in slow motion, it's like, it's painful slow motion. I watched the fight on regular speed today, and it's 28 seconds. And I just watched it. It don't seem that bad. It's like, all right, she got the tag a bunch, and then she just kind of stumbled and said, all right, whatever. Yeah, but it's funny that you feel like, oh yeah, Ronda Rousey had a 48 second fight. You're like, well, yeah, it's like all her fights. Yeah, she lost except to her. And you know, a fight is done when somebody gets that look on their face. Oh, what the fuck was that? Where? Yeah. They don't even think they can survive you. Yeah, where am I? Where am I here? I mean, what's up? The video I saw today, it was it only had the audio from Ronda's coaches from her on the side. You see that? Yeah, I've heard about it. Oh man, it's glorious. Let me hear him going. Move your head. Yeah, move your head. No! Hey, it's like he must have bet everything he had on her. And like, the mom is coming. Oh my God! She missed me now.
Let's just slowly, build up these areas.
She went around the ring. It was a whole crowd going, yes. It went over to him, said something. And what she did there, what she said.
Yeah, I hope you guys actually have a wonderful Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, depending on where you are, or evening where you are as well. Sorry if my commentary is a little bit rusty. This is the first time, at least in about a month, since I've gotten back, on the streaming again. I'm trying to get back and doing this on more of a regular basis, like I was doing for the past couple of months. And I feel like by coming back, I'd probably start with something that's a little bit more, I guess it's a little bit more decent what I'm used to doing. And plus, this is something I already started. I figure I might as well start doing more to stream with this.
Came in, she wasn't fighting opponents that have more experience with boxing, more experience with so many different moves. Being able to move and dodge better. Hers was grappling and jiu-jitsu. And they said you bring a boxer there that can really dance around somebody. And they said she never had that. And now it's coming to the point where she opened up the doors might open up wide. That and people can better prepare for it. Like she's not coming out of nowhere. Who is Ronda Rousey? Yeah, you know who she is. You know what she does. They're studying her weakness now.
Excuse me. Let me stabilize this camera a bit. There we go.
The sad thing about it is that again, like Mariah Carey, I've been reading not just comments from readers out there, comment sections. Like there's been articles that are written. Can you imagine breaking ground, being a pioneer of art, and you've been giving people so much entertainment, like Mariah Carey and any other person out there, you're giving so much of yourself, people love you, in the moment that you lose, all of a sudden, you're this life to the point where people say, look, no bad, nothing, I don't want to say anything bad to you, nothing, I don't want to be harsh, but maybe you should never fight again. There's an article that said, maybe you never actually that good. Oh, hell, she said that. Yeah. I'm tired. Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, and that's what people saying. Like, you just don't have it anymore. You need to quit. I feel like she lost that mental edge, man. Like, because we saw her when she was on Ellen after she lost the. She talking about suicide. Go back and yeah. And that's what there was an article I read in USA Today where they said all we know is that Ronda Rousey never needs to fight, and they would put a period and said never again. They're like, wow, man, that's like telling Martin Luther King, you did a lot for civil rights, but you didn't duck fast enough, so you suck. And I know it sounds bad, Oh yeah. Look, you can say what it is, but that's, I'm not, because I think, we're talking about a person that did wondrous things, and all of a sudden, it's because of one different thing. You have to say that you compare her to Martin Luther King. Yeah, please. But there's someone else. From your head. Dr. King. It was Jesse Jackson. MLK up in the name.
I wouldn't even go that far.
But think about this. Before I'm just looking at this. It's good to have a laugh, but man, we've been turning some people that gave us a lot.
Oh yeah, I think about that.
Yeah, and it's hard. Yeah, you look at this time, but it's so quick.
People turn that $3 million check in 48 seconds. She high.
Yeah, but man,
And she might go make fast 8, whatever.
yeah, but you ask yourself, do you think that that's what happened? You think Hollywood still wants to come to like still wants to use her? Is she still the commodity that she was before?
She had 3 movies on the books, and 2 of them dropped. Like got canceled, and the other one.
Yeah, I see that's what I'm talking
That
about.
was sorry. Yeah.
No, because if she would have won this fight, she would have been in that movie. Those movies would have been made.
If they could put Mike Tyson in the hangover, they could find something for her.
It's kind of dark in the shadow here. Let's start to get the little midtones. Virgo actually will go back over some of these shadows with some black to kind of darken them some more. Right now, we're just kind of mapping where all my main shadows are going to be. Just trying to fine tune some of the proportions.
You're doing something you love, and people tell you, no, your career is over. It's done. And that's that. At the age of 29, to have to stop doing something that you love, that sounds like that's heartbreaking. That's what I guess it comes with the ground of being an athlete and a public figure.
Yeah, designed for his little fez hat.
That kind of shit makes you go off. It makes you want to go off and do a game show. If you won't be famous for anything, just be a game show host.
Yeah, low risk.
No risk. All you gotta do is talk to crazy people and give away shit. You see the host.
A lot of the hosts had horrible accidents after being on the show.
2017, Google just killed Steve Harvey. If that happens, that's up to you, man. Even if it's not suicide, that's you. Not me. That's him this time.
Now we're not going to get a think like man 3.
Shit. GameFly brings to your house, to you, over 8,000 pieces and plastics that are available to rent all your devices for almost every system out there. Current and some old systems. Like I said, I'm trying to get my GameCube back to work for kids. GameFly is an excuse to do that. You can even try 30 days for free by typing in GameFlyOffer.com.
Let me kind of render some of the facial hair on his neck here.
And when you do that,
And under the side of his chin.
games and movies. Get all
And as you can see, as I'm filling out this portrait, filling out all the shadows, you can see we have 2 dual light sources. So we have one main light source coming in here from the left. That's our main one. But you also have another dual light that's coming in from the right as well.
I can't tell you what it is. I can guarantee you it is the best and keep it in here. Some people say it's like having Comic-Con brought right to your home. You don't have to leave the house. Not all kind of stuff. And everybody's a little surprise every month. Just a little bit. And here's another surprise for you. You go to our link, tryleaderbrand.com/double-toaster, and you type in bridge 10, that's the word bridge, the number 10, you can get 10% off. Then a 10% discount on the first grade. How's that for a surprise? Look great. Regular history, get a surprise, you get another box.
You know what? I think that's looking pretty good for right now. Let's start filling it in with a different color.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching.
I think let's go ahead. Let's go straight into the black with this one.
Go over to our home, doubletoasted.com, for more videos and live streams. And remember, stay tuned.
Introducing the next generation GMC Canyon 84S.
I think I'll start for our little iris peoples here.
Is out there. Find yours in the next generation GMC Canyon.
I left Detroit when I was 18. I got cut and rejected.
That's when I discovered my voice. It was only like, man, you want cheese. Go to doubletoasted.com and do me a favor and become a subscriber. And look, you get to do consider a donation or something, but we buy on your subscriptions. We're so generous that we will actually give you 7 days free. If you don't like to start anytime, the audio, it's free anywhere. It's free on iTunes, free on SoundCloud. And I ask people, once you're listening, don't be like, oh man, it's like everybody have so much fun. I want to get some of that. I want some of that too. So you're gonna come back over here and you're gonna decide to subscribe. And when you do, you're gonna do it many ways. I recommend if you have an Amazon account, use my Amazon Pay button.
This pupil, let me get the shadow for his eyelash.
It's not just your birthday, but you feel that toasty goodness. Oh, this. You know, this woman cannot get no peace. For a woman who's a legend, a genius, and a god, the godmother of soul. Not even godmother, a queen. She's royalty, the queen of Aretha Franklin. This woman can't get no peace whatsoever.
Oh, she can't get no R.E.S.P.
She can't even get the R.E.
That's it.
Yeah, get the awful raw. Y'all motherfuckers out there just did. She was 5 minutes dead. And 2 Negroes in a barbershop started arguing about the dumbest thing. They started arguing about whether Halle Berry played Aretha Franklin at one time.
Sadly, not even an hour after Aretha Franklin passes away, an argument at a local barbershop about
Which I never used.
I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that this all started because one man was questioning the other whether or not Halle Berry was playing or had played Aretha Franklin.
She doesn't even want to say it.
Yeah, got no sense.
Yeah, she didn't want to say stupid motherfucker something.
I look like not even an hour after
She was a bit, not even an hour.
After Aretha Franklin died,
and he was supposed to save this till the next day.
2 brothers sitting, you know, they were young and stupid. 2 of them sitting up there, phones in their hand. None of them bothered to Google. Computers in there. In fact, it was 2 old Negroes on the news who said, shit, we get that one, we'll Google shit. 2 old men.
Let me solve this argument right now. She didn't. She didn't play it. She was in the hospital for no goddamn reason.
That's what I said last night. You don't need no computer to do that shit. Give me your black card right now. We got this bullshit going on. And now this. Madonna, this was at the MTV Video Music Awards last night. She was asked to get up and say a few things about the Queen of Soul. And Madonna took the time to thank Aretha Franklin for letting her let me talk about myself.
Oh,
She went up there. And you know, I actually said, it's the internet. They probably have blown this out of proportion. Should I want my head? This is an edited version. She went on five minutes of unedited, unadulterated Madonna. These are just the highlights right here.
I left Detroit when I was 18. I can go back to getting robbed and being mistaken for a prostitute. Fortunately, one of my favorite albums was Lady Soul. I left for Paris, but I came back.
You know it's about Aretha. She's like, oh, Aretha died?
I might be put you in bed the whole time. Guy Ritchie was somewhere watching this, just shaking his head and reciting it word for word. Yeah. I had heard this stuff. No. Watch what she does. I'm going to say it with, oh, yeah. I remember it was my mother's birthday, my father's birthday, my parents' birthday.
Oh, no, I left for Paris, but I came back.
Thank you, Aretha, for empowering all of us. RESPECT.
You know,
So me. His biggest contribution was inspiring Madonna. That's what I believe.
I want to thank Aretha Franklin for her allowing me to get you the gift of me.
It wasn't RCPCT.
Yeah, and I like the way she.
Let me get his hair too on the side.
That's the way she kind of trolled everybody at the beginning.
Aretha Louise Franklin changed the course of my life.
Oh, people thought you were going to say history. My life. What?
Oh, yeah, you motherfuckers about to go about her, huh? Settle in. Lock the
You
doors.
should actually get here and not see by myself. Yeah. That's why I said with my voice. And it was only like, ma'am, do you want Jesus? Man, they are going.
And you start building in the midtones here.
Now, as they should, because she tried to come out and she tried to say, I'm telling you, I tried to give it the benefit of the doubt. Because before I saw the video, I started reading articles. I saw a headline. She said, listen, I did not mean to do a tribute. And here's one of the stories here. This is from USA Today. Madonna responds to the uproar. I did not intend to do a tribute to Aretha Franklin. You were in line. Oh, yeah. Mission accomplished. I meant to tell everybody. I meant to read the first chapter of my bio. To be fair, Cicely Tyson really did. Oh, she did. We got about 10 minutes. She says here, if I can find the quote here. She says here, let me see. I shared a part of my journey and thank you, Aretha, for inspiring me along the way. I did not intend to do a tribute to her. That would be impossible in 2 minutes. So you took 5 to talk about yourself. That was only 5? That was, no, she did a 5-minute crazy rant about herself. So you had time to talk about Aretha. Don't give me that bullshit. She not said her name. Yeah, oh yeah. Shit, I'm big foot back here. The fuck you want? I'm gonna fish it back here. And I think we need to do a tribute to her. I just want to say her name, show a picture. She like, look, I gave her a whole goddamn screen. What more do you want? Shit, she's up there bigger than that. If anything, she's overshadowing me. But Aretha, I'm gonna lay me. This is my moment. My moment.
Y'all love Aretha so much, why don't you dig her up? See what kind of show she'll do for you.
Oh, you play guitar in Paris. I ain't never seen her pick up one goddamn guitar in my life. Not her life. Not my life. It says right here, she said, that would be impossible to do within 2 minutes with all the noise and intensity of an award show. I could never do her justice in the context of that environment. So I'll just do myself justice. Talk about it. Man, you could hear a rat piss on cotton in that room. What you talking? I was like, what the fuck? It really was. People telling me. Man, listen.
I know it's people on
Oh, yeah. Seriously. Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. The internet, they went in, man. So you can see all the tweets that came out today. All these memes and stuff. They're like, what? They say, is this about Aretha or Madonna? This does not sound like a tribute to me. Does Madonna know Madonna didn't die? They went in, man. They went in. So you know, it's something about my life. Of course, Madonna manages to make this Aretha Franklin tribute about Madonna. I mean, there's tons out there. Now, here's what I got to say. Because she's trying to pass it on. Ain't nobody getting left off the hook on this one. First of all, even MTV gets blamed for this. You brought a fucking narcissist on stage. First of all, like you didn't think Madonna would ever do this. What made you think? And here's the other thing. If it's true, that's even worse. If she's telling the truth about, because what she said was MTV asked me to go out and just say really quickly how Aretha Franklin might have influenced me.
Yes, really quickly.
Yeah, really quickly. But even then, just say that. Why the fuck you put a giant ass picture of Madonna on a jumbotron and then ask somebody to come out and speak about themselves on how Aretha? You mean Aretha Franklin? Oh, jump. Oh, well, see, she got me too. Got my mom watch. Oh, she spiked this son. I was just gonna play. I know you were. I got your ass. You gonna hit me? I'm fucking this up. They gonna put goddamn Aretha Franklin on a fucking jumbotron and then have somebody come out and just say how you influenced me. You do something like that. That is a setup for a tribute. Yeah. When you look at the first speech, you look like.
Hey, Kaden. Hi. How you doing? Hey, glad you could join the stream.
This is pure bullshit. This is bullshit, man. And yes, I don't care what Madonna says. Madonna is at fault. I don't care if they told her to come out there and say a few words about herself or Aretha Franklin or do a picture. No. What she did was really turn turn this around to make it about her.
You can see as I'm going down our old shadows here. So I got my darkest shadows, I have my midtones, and my highlights. I'm just gradually building them up as I go along.
About steering things to my attention. This is what's going on with Kanye today, this crazy ass. Somebody go. Who didn't call my name? Say my name 2 more times. Let's come out the screen. Looking like goddamn Wesley Snipes from Demolition Man. Anybody know the remake already? Yeah. No, this is what's going on, man. This is this is what happens when you put a narcissist up there because Madonna she was Kanye before Kanye. And there's other people who like that, but these are celebrities who are used to people hanging on their every word, so they do make everything about them.
Yeah, well, she's got that kind of following, especially a lot of these pop singers who play to the LGBT crowd. They have awesome cult.
Oh yeah,
They love that shit.
Yeah.
And look,
All the drag shows about it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not talking
no, I'm not even saying Madonna's a bad person. Madonna was really progressive with the gay community.
Yeah.
And she embraced them, made them a part of her of her culture, and put them out front and center. And so I'm not even trying to sit up here and judge Madonna as being a bad person, but I do think Madonna. And let me just say this: I'm not even trying to take away from the success of Madonna, because a lot of people like to talk bad about Madonna and say Madonna ain't shit no more, Madonna old, Madonna ain't doing that.
She earned everything.
She earned everything she got. Let me tell you something. A lot of people don't know. In the top 20 of best performing tours of all time, she has not one, but two. You can hardly see it right there, but number 7, she has the Sticky and Sweet tour. That grossed $408 million.
that name is gross.
That name is nasty. That's why people win. I'll bring my McNuggets. My car.
You got a deal.
Yes. Yeah, I'm chocolate and peanut butter. I'm on that, but also at number 16, she had the MDNA tour, which brought in I think what is that? $305 million.
That's tremendous.
No, it is. It is. So nobody is sitting up here trying to take away from the success of Madonna. Madonna at one time was truly a force, a cultural force for pushing the limit on things. And that's why she was a hero to a lot of people, because she would push things. Yeah, you know what? I remember back in the day, she had the highest grossing documentary. I guess it could be called a concert movie too. But she had, you remember Truth or Dare? Yeah.
I realize I haven't talked to you in a while, and I have no idea if you guys are coming to the show, what night, blah, blah, blah.
That was critically acclaimed, and plus people wanted to see the personal side, the private side of Madonna, which it was never ended on. It was up until both the Columbine came out. That was the highest grossing.
Is this the one with Kevin Costner or Warren Beatty?
It's both, I think.
Are they both in the same one?
Well, Warren Beatty should be now. That was 1990. That's
Yeah.
when she was Dick Tracy came out.
Yeah, I think that Kevin Costner came in too. He's like, oh, I can't wait to see a little show. I'm Madonna, my little show?
Did she date him?
No, she Kevin Costner came in talking like she's a little girl. But yeah, I don't blame her, man. I'm not gonna blame her. Yeah. But this is a critically, it was a critically acclaimed documentary. I remember, this stood like about 80%, 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. One of the biggest criticisms of it is that people said, I do not know if I'm ever watching the Madonna people. She's pushing it and saying, she's always, even when she's like crying over family or something, it seems like she's performing.
Sure. Right. Hey, Dad, talk to me on my show. Yeah, we don't hear.
Yeah. She got her mother's grave when she danced about the tombstone and everything. And people like, oh, that's sweet and everything, but nobody bothered that. She never stopped performing. And that's the thing about everything right there. God damn, we got that Charlie Animal on it. I do not know.
I not remember that.
Now you
Nobody saying nothing. Nobody looking like that.
let a motherfucker be looking like that on my head. Like you look at that. You have a mother and a turtleneck on.
Put that thing on your head, motherfucker.
You look like you work at a bookstore.
You look like a serial killer, that thing.
What's your lecture, Professor?
I'm serial killer. This is somebody with 3 first names.
Just kind of build up shells down here underneath his chin, kind of bring that out, accentuate it a little bit more.
My kids see at this shit. They're trying to hide up the side too. They still not like you know what I mean? That wasn't me. That was you guys. But you know, that's what happens when life is based on good people attention, man. I mean, even the way she came up, dressed like a goddamn shaman from Wakanda right now. Look like she just sit Black Panther the spirit realm. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? They're not African niggas, Northern, there's a mixture of things, but it's like, it's still a call for attention. You know what I mean? Sure. Ain't nothing Nordic about this shit. Yeah, right now. This screw's over. Well, I'm just looking at this mic and big pigtails right there. I know. Pigtails going on. Yeah. Like, you know, it looks like somebody just. You ever seen them the World Market stores? It looks like somebody just a World Market exploded. Yeah, exploded. You just rolled in one. I remember she worked out on South Properties. But you know, everything is for attention, man. It's you know, it's almost like it gets to the point where you've done that so long, you're like a child. You will do anything. Sure, it's for attention to take the eye off of no matter how silly it is. And even to the point where somebody brings it to your attention, hey, this is kind of what you just did there. No, I didn't. No, you just don't understand. You know, and see that speech she gave? Yeah. Outside of her managing to mention Aretha that you were there. That's kind of speech when you're accepting a lifetime achievement award. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, right. That's exactly right. Your history. Otherwise, you wait for other people to discuss what you've done. You are exactly right. Just get up there and pull your own award until you receive that award. You are exactly right. You wouldn't get no award. No, she get well. The award she gave herself. Speech. But you know, that's the thing that happened. You mentioned Guy Ritchie. The whole thing with Guy Ritchie, even that couldn't be authentic, man. She married Guy Ritchie, and I'm not saying they didn't love each other and anything, but because she said, well, you know, I married a Brit, so I guess I'll be British too. And all that shit. You had a British accent for what?
Religion is synonymous with not asking questions. And what I call religious thinking is robotic thinking.
You don't get the fuck out of here. You know, Detroit, you were from Detroit. You know, you were just in desperately seeking Susan talking about what is Susan there. You know, her excuse.
Well, I've been living in London for the last 6 weeks, so, you know.
6 years.
Ooh, sorry about that.
Yeah. She can live the next 20 fucking years and I go run home. No, it's not. No, it's wrong. No, it's
still happy to marry her because she had been such a big sex symbol. And then by the end, he was just so.
Yeah. I think about the honeymoon, he was like, God, talking here. I got an accent after living here for a little while. If that was the case, every Mexican here in Texas would be speaking the King's English. Oh, do you do that? Yeah. Tacos, but no, man, you know, and so I get it, pushing the envelope. That was her thing at the time, and you know, even then, I would say there were moments where she would do it just with no cleverness at all, just doing it to do, just doing it to shock. She would. I remember she.
Let's get this other pupil here.
And she was cursing up a storm and everything just for shock value. But it's also a little something that she did. There's some nasty she did today.
Wait a minute, aren't you gonna smell them?
She gave him her panties, her dirty panties.
I'll take care of that later.
I gave him my underpants.
That's not what they go.
No, that's no, believe me, that's where we got that right.
He said this shit. Yeah, the first time, hey, you think there was other Nancy there because as soon as the cameras are off, he dove under that desk. Yeah, second of all,
I don't want this shit. Yeah, look at that right there.
now you put this shit in the drawer.
He wanted to draw like face mask. He was wanting to look like Jason. Look at
Second of all, he did get her on that. You were watching that? She was fucking with him left and right. He was just rolling with it, just getting it. He said she was wearing a swimmer's cap because she had that leg. I remember that.
yeah, but ass looking like Morticia from there.
She walked right in.
No, she did. She
You
walked.
see his face. He was like,
Yeah, she sat down.
She had that whole, like, I'm gonna get him today. And I guess afterwards, this woman, she's like, oh, they let him as an asshole.
Yeah, no, because she walked in cursing and everything. She expected David Letterman, which was cool. And David Letterman was just sharp with everything. He just said, he was like, hey, look, we here. Oh,
right now,
it's my show.
I was sitting there.
Yeah.
Lucy, yeah.
We told him about it. And we're running out of this.
Let's build the shells more around the nose.
Yeah, man. And she did it. She came in doing that because she was trying to be shocking. Sure. From the very beginning, she was trying to be shocking. And here's something that's interesting. You didn't know when the sincerity was ever there. I'm not judging her for her sex life, but she did make her way through Hollywood with all the people that would let her celebrity. Got a picture of Tupac right here. God damn, I wasn't joking when it was a Tupac. I mean, it was a lot of people, man. A lot of people. And you know what? And she
Also, she a thug, man. She's British with Irish. She's I'm telling you that she had the nose ring with the picture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Who knows how thuggish and shit?
Yeah, she's probably Indian.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with her.
Yeah, goddamn. They need to put up the next movie. What's that goddamn James McAvoy movie? Split.
Ooh, excuse me. I'm awfully sorry about that.
I ain't your own black boy. But Michael Cheating went after Michael Jackson. And a lot of people thought it was just her like wanting to be seen on a date with Michael Jackson. She was trying to turn Michael out. She was trying to fuck Michael, man.
And that other dick.
She had him scared. Yeah, his ass scared. He was not thinking that. Rightfully so. And rightfully so. You freak the fuck out of Michael Jackson. Something's wrong. I don't know if you can hear this. This is Michael Jackson talking about like he wasn't a nice person. So yeah. Yes, and I looked it up because I thought this might be fake. But I looked this up and it's true. CNN did a whole story about it. Mike was talking about this now. He's like, Michael just like, it's religious, man. Did you notice that he put a little face in his box like that? Seriously, what is it?
I ain't gonna do it.
I asked you what the kid. Oh, the nose came back.
No, he's weird out.
And why nose came back?
Yeah. He think I'm fucking weird. Michael said, I walked in, but you probably couldn't hear this. Michael said, I walked in, she had all these spanky books, and he's like, why do I want to look at those? And then he said, she just kept trying to do this thing for shock value.
Yeah.
And then that's what he said. She said, I'm not going to Disney. But insinuated, she was bullying him, insinuated that we ain't doing this kiddy shit. We fucking.
That's what she said, yeah.
That's cute. I wouldn't take it.
They never let my ass back up again. You made me go to jail.
Everybody's looking back at Neverland.
She was bullying Michael Jackson, man. You know, that's the thing with this whole situation. I'm not trying to sit up here and judge somebody for the life thing. But as I said, Madonna don't owe anybody any excuse for the success in her life. She's done a lot to get to where she is and she deserves it. But some other people deserve attention too. Especially somebody that just died. And the thing with Madonna is, well, I don't think you're too old to like push the envelope or to always go out there and try to break the rules. You are too old to be trying too hard.
Yeah.
You know, that's the only problem I have. This right here is trying too hard. It's too old to be that desperate.
Sure.
And so
Some simple things.
I read my close to Mr. Richie. I felt like this was authentic. If I felt like this was real, then I would actually say, all right, that's just her. But this is her just trying to
It's more authentic than anything else because usually she's out there, she's making out with somebody on stage.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get an award out, like, you gotta
She's like, yeah. And she's supposed to get an award.
Greg actually was horrified. He said when she gets on break, he was sitting on stage and she went, wow. He was like, yeah, he went, it's a little comedy. Yeah, like, he ain't stopped the girl. That's exactly what
He made this voice thing, man.
Kind of build these midtones and these darker shadows around his cheek here, even though it's more in shadow here. You still want to be having those values in place.
Somebody gonna jump on me about this. Was her and Rob. They seem like crazy enough for each other. Her and Dennis Rob together.
They did seem crazy enough with each other.
I'm just saying, I read the book.
The two biggest attention for it.
I read the book and the way they got together.
Like, Kanye ain't shit compared to the two of them.
Oh no, they got that on now.
Yeah.
They got the crown.
Yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
They were sharing the same closet, the same clothes. They got dressed in mine.
Why you stretching my shit out?
It's crazy as we flying around trying to get us to fall in love with dictators.
I'm telling y'all, I know. The red ass. Of course, he is big.
Don't give John the little piece of I want to see this. I was persecuted.
Is that Carol?
God damn, this was gruesome to someone.
Look at these motherfuckers, man.
This is goddamn round topic.
Like that.
She is seriously one of those women that was forfeited whatever their name.
I told you, man. Look at her. Damn, that wasn't really his style.
Oh,
That's the thing.
She has the job. That was just Al Sharpton.
Oh, this broke man.
No, he was trying to give like a subtle nod to Aretha Franklin when she passed away, and a jab towards Trump at the same time. And he botched that shit. Bang.
Oh, you see the guys right here. Is it possible to aim two guns?
We think you're on that shot on that shit.
Let me set the movie, but you actually can't.
Let me see here.
Go ahead.
So in the words of my late friend Aretha Franklin, show some R-E-S-P-I-C-T.
Yo, man, y'all gotta show respect. Y'all better have that respect. God damn.
So somebody you cannot misspell.
You cannot do that. Hate court. One more time.
That's a little farther apart than that. that would like now I'm looking at it, but I'll have to go and try and work with it.
Right here. Motherfucker had a spelling bee. Happy birthday, Billy. Goddamn. That's the best gift I could get. This fool was at the spelling bee. Respect. RSPERCTK. OBS. You're a lot of Johnny Brown. Ran off on the bus that week. I thought he was really saying something. I was saying some heavy shit. Talk about, you know what? People press that shit all day. So the thing about like bread, Aretha bread, you know some PSI,
For those who can really see, I'm kind of going across hatching mode as I'm going down and rendering needy shadows in.
So in the words of my late friend Aretha Franklin, show some RESPICT. Next time, I got you.
No, you don't. Hey, he fucked up. He need to get that law. Slow some rocks.
In the words of my late friend Webster. Pick up a dictionary and learn how to spell.
Look at your social RS. Smell this shit right here. Even Trump up in here. Trump. You're trouble him like you ain't got shit.
I was like, I'm going to tweet something back, but I'll let this speak for itself.
You know what? If that was one time I would have been happy for Trump to sit like that, right? You know what? Hey. Hey, now, what's respect?
Even though the eye is a little bit further apart than I'd like, at least compared to the original reference I'm using, I think it's turning along pretty nicely.
Like the villain in a successful slasher movie, some monsters won't stay dead. Also, what do you guys think about the new book road setup? I think this is a much bigger improvement because the arm rests are like mathematically calculated. And they got these things. Look at how cool these are. They're not real though. This is just like fabric and wind. And I don't know how noisy they actually are. So I'm just gonna turn this off now so that I'm not destroying my audio. Midnight Sun is a catastrophic retelling, once again, of the original Twilight series. And I hate that I can say that. Almost as much as I hate the fact that I spent $30 pre-ordering this. I spent less money on vintage books that are older than my grandparents. Midnight Sun is Stephanie Meyer's desperate attempt to cling to relevance by performing what is effectively backtracking in book form. A particularly lazy method of writing that I absolutely detest, that is inexplicably prevalent. It's when authors will retell a story from another character's perspective. The problem with that is they almost always tell exactly the same story with so little difference that you're not getting a new experience. All the reader's doing is shelling out whatever they paid for the book to relive the same story. We've seen this with Veronica Roth. We've seen this with Elle James. And now Stephanie Meyer is, well, I mean, she did this once before with Life and Death, but I mean, that one was gender bended. This is just Twilight from Ed's perspective. But this was not some sort of a sudden, desperate attempt at reliving her old success. Meyer
Kind of render the size cheek a little more here.
2008, back during the height of the Twilight craze. The movies were just coming out at that point. In fact, apparently Meyer allowed Catherine Hardwick, the director of the first Twilight book, and Rob Pattinson to read a few chapters from this book so they could get a better idea of who Edward Cullen was as a character. A move that should have been viewed as an act of cruelty. Now, telling a story from another character's perspective can be very beneficial. It can actually open up a new perspective and give you a new understanding of a different person's point of view. For example, John Gardner's classic Rendell, which is the story available told from the perspective of the monster. And even though some fans of Myers would say, oh, but that's what this is. It's a story told from the perspective of the monster. No, it's not. Rendell was an antagonist and actually had a different perspective that, depending on how you viewed it, was maybe justified, but Edward is not an antagonist. He's a love interest, and not even a very compelling one at that. So you get a different understanding because you had one viewpoint of Rendell initially. Actually, where is? No, I don't even map it on my book. Sorry, I know where everything is. I've got it memorized. Well, my copy of Beowulf is right here somewhere. But Beowulf gave you a perspective from the hero's side of things, and you had one idea of who Rendell was supposed to be. This hideous monster that was attacking the village. But you don't actually get Rendell's perspective. You get a very limited view of who he was. So to get a story from his perspective is immediately contradictory to what you were told before, and it gives you a new idea and a more well-rounded experience.
Let's go along the profile of this bottom chin here, so I can start accentuating this facial hair.
A great example that I'm sure any of you were thinking about is Ender's Game and its sequel, Ender's Shadow. Ender's Game tells the story of Ender as he goes through training.
Yeah, the way things are going, I might have to finish this up a little bit later on, because I definitely don't think I'm gonna be able to finish this whole portrait in one stream. But at least I was able to get a good chunk of the stream in, like while I had time.
While there are some scenes that match up with what happened in Ender's Game, part of the same squad. Bane is unique enough character that you get a different experience reading this story than you do reading this story. So it's not like you're retreading old ground. You mostly get different viewpoints and different scenes separate from Ender. Actually, I don't think he even shows up until like halfway through the book. Don't quote me on that. It's been years since I've done this. And so when you do get a few scenes that actually match up with Ender's Game, it's more like a nostalgic reference. Like, oh, I remember that scene. I did see the beast for a second. That's so cool. It happens infrequently. So those few scenes are more of a delight in that way. Midnight Sun doesn't do that. There are entire scenes that are repeated almost verbatim. The dialogue actually matches up quite well. I will grant, but you are getting exactly the same experience. Nothing new is really learned. Nothing is explored. If you read Twilight and you read Midnight Sun, actually it's a little worse. Midnight Sun has some scenes later in the book that we'll get to that are just like, just why? It gets so overcomplicated. And also special thanks to Thrift Books for giving me this book for free. The website is great because, and by the way, this is not sponsored content. This is me telling you guys about a good website. You can buy enough books on that website, and they actually get you for free. So I didn't pay for this, and I didn't have to replace it because my original copy of Twilight got broken down on purpose. I threw this on the ground, and like I guess the spine was weak, and it slipped right down the middle. But I did go through and check to compare a few complementary scenes, and I do have notes on some mismatches because someone out there had to check. Might as well be me. Now, like I said, this was originally supposed to be published in 2008. The reason it wasn't is because the brilliant idea of just retelling exactly the same story got leaked. A few chapters somehow got released without Meyer's knowledge or permission, and so she got a little angry. Understandable. It's not fun having your work leaked like that. And she decided to just shelve this for 13 years. And when I say this is exactly the same story, I'm not kidding. About 70% of the book, thereabouts, feel like it was taken straight out of Twilight. And because of that,
Hey, Preston, how you doing, man? Yeah, good to see you. I'm glad you ever see me. I'm streaming. It's my first time kind of doing it in a while. I'm glad you're enjoying it so far. Yeah, it's my first time kind of doing it just in about a month or two. So I'm just kind of getting back in the feel of doing it. Yeah, I'm basically doing kind of a little portrait study. I'm doing one of an old picture of Pharaoh Sanders. And the original photo, fortunately, I don't have it on right now. I'll let you look at my desktop computer screen for right now. It's got some really good shadows, a really good light source initial photos. So I thought, that would be perfect, for this portrait study. So that's what I'm doing here. Let's see, let's get its hair here.
Unfortunately, there are multiple ways you can write a story, the ways you pour emotion into a story. The problem with Meyer is she doesn't really understand how to capture emotion correctly. So she thinks she's doing one thing and she's actually doing the other. And unfortunately, Midnight Sun is enriched with that boredom she experienced, that tedium of the process of trying to write this book. Especially because, according to a 2013 interview with NPR, she said she was so over the Twilight series. And in a Good Morning America video, she said it wasn't fair to keep her fans waiting.
Right now, and I wasn't sure if it was the right time to put this book out, but some of you have been waiting for just so long. It didn't seem fair to make you wait anymore.
And because this book was critically slammed by multiple sources, my favorite of which is from Al Hunt of the Guardian, who wrote the book was chronically overwritten and under-edited, which I think sums the book up perfectly. Especially when you compare how thick Twilight is to Midnight Sun. And yes, plenty of tabs. So I got a lot to say. I got about 34 pages of notes, 35 pages of notes. And that will include a rant on Meyer's brazen misuse of the pomegranate on the cover. But I also like to point out that I finished this book shortly after reading Eclipse. So the type of alcohol I need to properly endure all this only exists in video games.
This is Krogan liquor, Rinco. You'll set off radiological alarms after you drink it.
But that's enough build-up for now. Let's get into this thing so we can understand how this book takes an aggressive stance against the concept of less is more. And small note, if you see Leia walking around with this, she's wearing a shirt because she's got a cyst on the back of the neck that's they're not able to keep off yet. Surgery study.
Yeah, I'll end the stream in just a few minutes. I have to leave for work in just a little while. I'm going to go just a little bit longer, try to get more of this portrait done before I have to go ahead and go.
So appropriately enough, the book opens up rather cynically, which works because Ed is supposedly a high schooler, but also because he is a miserable little bastard. This was the time of day when I most wish I were able to sleep. High school. Or was purgatory the right word? If there were any way to atone for my sins, this ought to count towards the tally in some measure.
I would have some music playing in the background. My audio is not really working too good right now. Sliding up my microphone here. But that'll be something I'll figure out one time, as far as getting that fixed.
Substantially different. An advantage that you have with first-person narration stories is not only do you get to analyze the dialogue that they use, but also the prose, because those are supposed to be their inner thoughts. The problem with this book is that Ed's inner voice changes and not in a way that seems
Let's start working on his little hat.
gradually shift throughout there are chunks where it's pretty clear that Meyer wrote like this set of chapters in a couple months and then pause, and then this set of chapters in a chunk and then pause, and then this set of chapters. It's inconsistent. But I actually kind of like the initial prose that we get from Ed because I can read it like a stuffed shirt aristocrat stereotype, and it sounds terribly appropriate. Like this example on the first page when he describes this telepathy. When it came to the human mind, I had heard it all before, and then some. Today, all thoughts were consumed with a trivial drama of a new edition of the small student's body. It took so little to work them up. I'd seen the new face repeated in thought after thought from every angle. Just an ordinary teen girl. The excitement over her arrival was tiresomely predictable. I want to punch this guy. Now, Ed's telepathy is something that gets hit on a lot in this story. Meyer.
Let me just get this side of his Fez first.
And to a point, she should. Like, to a point, we should get exposed to what life is like, constantly being able to read minds. A lot of conversations that he has with his family members, for example, are entirely one-sided, where they will think something and then he'll respond hurt. Or he'll just, in passing, notice things that other people are thinking very casually. He's very used to these powers and the advantages that it gives him. Now, he describes them as being, like, tiresome. And we do get some idea of how they work, like, not very specifically. We don't really understand the limits or what he can really do if he stretches his powers to their maximum potential. The problem is Ed will occasionally refer to his powers.
Let me get the shouting of his Fez here.
They don't really come off as a real burden. Like, they never hinder him in any meaningful way. It's a burden in the same way that you wanted a fork and you have a spoon. Considering Ed is playing the role of a high school student, this opening is terribly appropriate. However, it's also terribly pretentious. While Ed might be able to get away with it because of his age and exposure to classic literature, it feels like he's channeling the snobby, smarter than he looks high schooler archetype, an overdone and usually annoying character.
Love is just a transaction. We're all hardwired to desire. We present the correct set of desirable traits, and boom. We can turn it on, and we can turn it off.
Kid, you're 17. You barely understand how your own mind works, much less the dark secrets of the universe.
Forgot he has some little hair on the side of his neck too, so let me go and get that as well.
This example to go with the Guardian review of how this book is chronically overwritten because Ed will so very constantly go and think about how his family members would deal with a certain situation, or he will try to read the minds of students surrounding him, even though it doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't advance the story or help him with some sort of a plot that he's working on. He's just reading minds because, hey, isn't that a nifty trick? And oftentimes that results in passages like this. Alice Smith's home was alarmed, and I saw in her mind that she was watching Jasper in her peripheral vision. Is there any danger? She searched ahead and they sitting conditions of monotony and sort behind my frown. Even as she did so, she remembered to tuck one tiny fist under her sharp chin and blink regularly. She brushed the tuft of her short, jagged black hair out of her eyes. So it's the point that they need to act human, because otherwise they would just stand there like statues, because they're empires, that's what they do. They don't need to blink or breathe or do any of that. The problem is, Meyer relies on this trick of and describing other people's minds and perceptions so often that it becomes something of a crutch. That she over-relies on this idea, like it's the most brilliant thing ever somehow, and it kills all sense of pacing. This also feels like a missed opportunity. Because of this telepathy and telling things straight from people's minds, it feels like we're getting a story written in both first-person limited and third-person omniscient writing styles. This could have been a very clever blend if handled correctly, but instead it's a lot of show-don't-tell violations. Like, I wanted to go into this book optimistic. I wanted to go in saying that Meyer has somehow improved in her writing craft, but that's like describing a guy who's been learning to cook for years and only just discovered how to turn the oven on. But this is all in reaction to Bella's first day at school. And we get this line that Jasper was very dangerous right now, because he's a borderline murder machine, which brings up an old complaint that I had about Sirius. If he's so dangerous, why let him go to school? He could literally kill someone and worse, get spotted doing it. That would lead to a manhunt for him. That would be trouble for the entire family. Hell, if he drank a kid and wind up in national news, you'd have to hide both human law enforcement and the Volturi. Alternatives would be telling people he's sickly and can't go to school, telling people he's homeschooled, telling people he's already graduated from high school, just teleworks all day. You can't always tell how old someone is from what complaints. Besides, it's only give up a cheap, meaningless charade. What do the Collins get from going to a new high school after a few years anyway? Hey, is this part of some quest to collect new graduation hats? They're all loners anyway that Ed says are universally avoided. They just go to school to stand out? No, the truth is, if they didn't, then we wouldn't have a story. Also, by opening the book this early on with the introduction of Bella's
Let me just render out that hat some more.
The chance to really introduce Ed properly on his own terms. Because now, we don't get to see a day.
Yeah, because the original photo is kind of fuzzy. It's got these little divots in the end, so I'm trying my best to try to render them as is. It's like it's really tricky.
Some idea of what his backstory was, because we get a few flashbacks sprinkled in from the book. Let me tell you, those are draining. But to not give us an idea of what his day-to-day life was beforehand, you ruined the chance to properly introduce your character. It's a classic take on the hero's journey. You start by introducing who the character is and how they normally go about their day. And then there's a big sudden change, and they're plunged into a world of adventure.
Just render out the side with some extra darker shadows.
We don't see him interacting with his family much, because this scene is very brief on the topic. Thankfully brief, considering some of the later scenes he gets, which is bizarre, because that's kind of what Bella got in Twilight. I mean, not really a sort of ordinary day in her life, it's just sort of her new life in Forks. But you still got an established character. You want to jump in terms of her character, but you've got to develop an idea of who Bella was before she ran into Ed. Another good example that I like to cite is Any Mistake with Will Smith, because you've got a pretty solid idea of who his character was before everything. I think it was the NSA interfered and screwed up his life. And so at that point, you've got a solid idea of who this character is and how dramatically their life has been impacted. You don't get that yet, especially because he actually spends a few chapters fighting against the destined romance he has with Bella. So it's the cafeteria scene, and Ed tries to read Bella's mind for the first time and realizes that he can't. One of the things that Meyer wanted to present with this is she wanted Ed to come across as a little more unsure, a little more dealing with anxiety. He wasn't necessarily the cunning, dangerous creature that she assumed he came across as in first book, which makes me wonder why the hell she wrote passages like this. And Rosalie and Jasper were pretending to be seniors. They left for their classes. I was playing the other role with Nick. I headed off for my junior level biology lesson, preparing my mind for the team. It was down to Mr. Man, a man of no more than average intellect, who managed to pull out anything in his lecture that would surprise someone believing medical degrees. Now, the anxiety comes later, but right now we are bombarded with Ed coming off as a snobbish asshole. And we get another reminder of Ed Powers as he says that he always wished that he could escape with common. So this seems to confirm that he can't really control his powers, and there's something over, but it never amounts to anything. He just says it as a general complaint. It's like if you're complaining about red lights on your way to work, but you still make it into work on time. Well, yeah, they're annoying, but so what? If you want to see this done right, you've got to go to something like Code Geass, where we got a character named Mal who's actually able to read thoughts of everyone around him. The problem was he couldn't control it, and it became so overwhelming that it kind of drove him insane. But it's time for the big reveal when Ed finally gets to sniff Bella.
We got to shake around his neck, just get around his, render his collar just a bit at the bottom.
And Ed gets to take in a deep whiff of that good old Bella stank. Oh man, that sounds so much worse. Bella Swan walked into the flow of heated air that blew toward me from the vent. Her scent hit me like a battering ram, like an exploding grenade. There was no image filed enough to encompass the force of what happened to me in that moment. Instantly, I was transformed. I was nothing close to human I once been. No trace of the shreds of humanity I managed to cloak myself in over the years remained. I was a predator. She was my prey. There was nothing else in the whole world but that truth. Why'd you have a seat? And that is all the description you get about that moment. And it's pretty bad. Now, we do get the idea that he was completely surprised by Bella's smell. Okay, fine. Describe it. For a description of this reaction, we get the impact but not the impetus. Ed describes how Bella bowled him over and how he was the predator, she was the prey. However, we don't get any such description of what made her smell so good. Nothing to color in things from Ed's perspective. This is like reacting to a freshly cooked steak, but doing nothing to describe what the steak smells like. It leaves the reader out of the moment. Now, putting up this barrier, and right behind the barrier is going to be a steak. Using everything available to you, can you describe anything about how this steak smells or tastes like? No, of course not. You have no clues available to you. And while the scent of blood might not be the most appetizing thing for most readers, a talented writer can make it work. For example, in Dead Space Murder, which is a good book, you should definitely read this if you like creepy sci-fi thrillers. There is a character who descends in what I will just lazily call a bathysphere with a murder pit.
There we go.
And an exclusive healing artifact that drives him insane. And as part of that insanity, he brutally murders his partner.
All right, guys, I think that is it for today. Yeah, I think I'll probably have to finish this portrait later. I appreciate you all for actually joining on the stream today. I appreciate you, Kaden. Same goes for you, Russell. I hope to see y'all again soon. I'll probably be back again. If not tomorrow, I'll definitely be back again this upcoming weekend on a Saturday or Sunday. If you want to look at my artwork, you can check out my YouTube channel. I have all my links for different social media. So I'm available on Instagram, I'm available on DeviantArt. I'm also posting videos on TikTok as well. All right, thanks again for joining the stream. And as always, have a great day and have a good night.